It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there was a motion to dismiss dismiss a lawsuit by Preferred Family Healthcare. And this is big news here. And I mentioned Ecclesia College and everything like that at the beginning of the show when I was previewing this interview with Mr. Joey McCutchen and Matt Bishop. Hey, guys, are you guys on the line? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Paul, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, welcome to the program. And so if you guys can recap where we are with all of this, specifically start with the new developments about this lawsuit with Preferred Family Healthcare.
All right, Paul, well, we'll do that, and I'll let Matt jump in here anytime. But in essence, what Preferred Family has said is that we have not alleged any wrongdoing on the part of the state. And I think that it's very clear that we have alleged wrongdoing on the part of the state, whether it's with former Senator John Woods or former Michael Woods or Eddie Wayne Cooper. Matt, you want to jump in there?
Yeah, Paul, and I think what it comes down to is I don't believe we have to, but there are some cases in Arkansas that seem to go both ways, and it's something that the Arkansas Supreme Court's got to decide. If you bribe a legislator, do you still have to allege that the law that distributed the money was wrongdoing and was wrong, illegal? And to me, that's I can't see the Supreme Court coming down and saying it's okay to do that as long as the law was all right. And if you look at the purpose behind this constitutional provision, this was designed for the citizens to act. We don't have to wait on the state. And in this case, you wouldn't want to because it's the state legislators that are being bribed. So I don't think that the motion to dismiss will stand, but obviously I'm not the judge, and the judge makes that call, and it will go from there.
So let's talk let's talk about the reason. Jim Parsons, you guys are representing him. He's a Benton County resident, and this is an illegal exaction, right? You guys think this whole Preferred Family Healthcare situation was an illegal exaction. What specifically are you referring to?
Go ahead, Bill. Oh, yeah, sure. Illegal exactions is a constitutional provision in the Constitution of 1874. And it basically says, and there's two types. There's an illegal law, and Paul, you and I once talked about the solid waste district case, where I'm saying the way that law is applied is illegal in taxing the citizens. There's also what's called public funds cases. Basically, when the person obtains the funds and the money is being misapplied or illegally spent, or the money is used improperly. So this is one of those cases where we're saying you didn't allocate tax funds to pay fraudulent medical claims, to bribe legislators, to buy World Series tickets, to pay for lake houses in Carroll County and beach houses in Florida. That's not what our money should go for.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think the average person, I mean, on its face, we know it's wrong. It's just, well, are there going to be consequences from this? Joey, what's your feeling on this? I mean, Preferred Family Healthcare, the state, has eliminated the contract with him at this point. It took them a while to do it. It took them much longer than I think they should have waited because we were hearing about all of this corruption with Preferred Family Healthcare. And some people think that the feds, basically told Arkansas, look, you will terminate the contract because it lasted way too long, in my opinion, considering everything we knew about that organization.
Yeah, I think I think as Matt said, sometimes the citizens have to act. And, if you wait on the Attorney General, if she's got a job to do, then Attorney General needs to do the job. Preferred Family, they want to talk in this motion to dismiss about how they're victims. They're victims of alternative opportunities. This other group that they merged with and how they deceived them. Well, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it that Preferred Family is a victim here. But we shall see.
Well, yeah, they merged with Alternative Opportunities, and then they changed the name to Preferred Family Healthcare, right? Or, I mean, that name, Alternative Opportunities, went away, right?
It did, yeah.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
That doesn't
Go
make
ahead,
any, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Paul, I think you're right, and I think it's and I understand it's hard for people to think of a corporation as legally liable, but we've given corporations all these rights as entities, and I don't think you can say, well, we changed the head, so even though we're the same entity, we have no liability. We've gotten rid of all these bad actors who are acting in our name. Therefore, we've changed. Therefore, we're free of liability. We collected the money as an entity. We used the money as an entity. We authorized, as a board, this spending to these people, paying them these salaries, these exorbitant salaries for a nonprofit. But hey, we were victims as an entity, and that's. I think you saw that with the Wall Street bailout.
Mm-hmm.
The large banks, they say, well, this guy did the bad thing, but not us as the entity. You get to keep on going.
I like that analogy. I like it. It is like a big bank analogy. Yeah, that's really interesting. So I want to remind everybody listening. So, Milton Rusty Russell Cranford, he's at the center of this. He's the lobbyist. He's at the center of all of this stuff, whether it's, connected to Preferred Family Health Care or John Woods and everything else. And it goes really, really deep. But, he pled guilty. And so when he pleads guilty, he says that he bribed what is believed to be Jeremy Hutchinson, or that Preferred Family Health Care, bribed, and you went through the little loophole of attorney fees because he was a state senator and he's also an attorney, $500,000. Okay, so this is why it is a big deal, and so I wanted to have you guys on. I wanted to be clear here. We're talking about taxpayer money, and it's being given, it's being laundered through, from the taxpayer, from the state, to Preferred Family, then for Preferred Family sending it back to a legislator's way to continue to get funding, to get resolutions passed honoring the CEOs of Preferred Family Healthcare, or the COOs. I mean, it just is absolutely ridiculous. And somebody, I mean, I know we have people going to jail, but I think you guys are doing the right thing here, representing Mr. Parsons, trying to pursue this. And not only is it a good thing you're pursuing it, but I think just the whole process will educate more people about, how bad it really was and is right now.
Well, we've got to continue to shine a very bright light on public corruption, and whether it's a scheme of this attorney-client privilege, or this attorney-client scheme of, pumping money in and giving money back to an attorney because they're the lawyer. Similar type features in Ecclesia, in the Ecclesia College case, where you've got a legislator, Bob Ballinger, who is giving public money to this private college in Northwest Arkansas. At the same time, his law firm is representing Ecclesia College. It just doesn't smell right. The appearance of impropriety at a very minimum is there. And we as citizens must continue to shine the light and hold government accountable, or they're going to run amok. I mean, we've seen it in Arkansas. Just not enough accountability. And I think that's one of the things that Matt and I are trying to accomplish as an indirect byproduct of this lawsuit, is continue to expose these schemes that are just not appropriate.
We're talking with Fort Smith attorneys Joey McCutchen and Matt Bishop. They're representing, again, Jim Parsons in an illegal exaction case against Preferred Family Healthcare, this giant healthcare company. Joey, I'd like for you to address where we are right now with the other lawsuit I know you're involved in with Ecclesia, attempting to figure out exactly, all of that money, $700,000+ I think, taxpayer money, GIF money went to this college, and we don't really know exactly how it was spent. I mean, I know people have told, or they've told us, but I mean, we'd like to see the documents, right? And Ecclesia says, well, no, we're a private college. We don't have to give you the documents.
That's right. Still haven't gotten the documents that we're seeking. Matt, you may want to speak to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, we are getting, you kind of get it in drips and drabs, and at the last hearing I noticed the counsel for Ecclesia stood up and said, well, we feel like we've produced all the documents. This case should go away. And the judge responded, they filed the FOI 2 years ago. Why? That's not a defense that 2 years later you give out some documents and declare it done. And I think that's kind of what Joey's been dealing with. You see this. I know he handles a lot of FOIA cases, and you see that a lot in FOIA cases. Well, now we've done it. Everything's okay. Yes, but we had to file suit to get you to act the right way, and you still haven't completed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Paul, it really speaks to the bigger problem that I hope is going to maybe get some resolution in this legislative session, where legislators don't try to dismantle FOIA, but in fact they put teeth in FOIA as a law. We're just seeing this more and more often, as Matt has alluded to, where basically these public entities do not give records. I have to file a lawsuit, or some other lawyer has to file a FOIA lawsuit to get the records, and then within days they're producing the records. There needs to be teeth in FOIA. There needs to be stiff civil penalties. Maybe even the criminal penalties should be utilized. Prosecutors across this state need to start punishing these record withholders in a criminal context and get their attention. Because, if you just produce the records after a lawsuit failed and you have to pay some costs or some attorney fees, that's just it's just like thumbing your nose at the public.
I think that would be good to increase the penalties if you don't comply with FOIA. I do think we have to be very, I guess, vigilant is what I'm trying to say, and watch out for a potential repeat of them trying to dismantle the FOIA law, because we are seeing some repeat things that failed last time, right? The internet sales tax failed, and they're going to bring that back. They're going to bring some of these things back that have already been voted down 2 years ago. And so do you think that, are you hearing anything, Joey or Matt? Are they going to attempt to dismantle the FOIA law again, or do you think that's kind of dead?
Well, I think we need to be very vigilant. I think that we will see attempts. Senate Bill 373 was this bill where they tried to create basically an attorney-client privilege. You CC your lawyer on these documents, and all of a sudden those records cannot be gotten by the public. I think we'll see that. I think we'll see that again, and the reason I say that is in the FOIA task force meeting, they never said that they weren't going to attempt to bring that monster up again, and that would have taken us, in my opinion, from the strongest FOIA law in the country to maybe one of the weakest, and we just have to keep our eyes open. I think the FOIA task force. I'm against task force because I think that sometimes they're counterproductive. But I think the FOIA task force, the job that they've done going through all of these bills in the last session, which would have dismantled FOIA, did a great job, and basically said, these bills are not in the interest of the public, and they do nothing for accountability, and we've got to fight against them.
Yeah.
So I think we will see more, Paul. I don't think they ever go away.
Yeah.
It's sad. We've got a group of Republicans who purport to believe in accountability. Well, let's show it. Let's make FOIA stronger. Let's not make FOIA weaker.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, FOIA should apply, Paul, to state legislators. I think they need to go one more step and say that we're going to make the open meetings provision of FOIA apply to state legislators. Why not? Why should they be able? They can videotape all their committee meetings and on the floors. They can video, but when they do their business in the back rooms of the Capitol, big deal. I mean, so let's make FOIA apply, the open meetings apply to state legislators, and make them do their business in committee rooms where we can watch, just like local school boards have to. I mean, what's wrong with that idea?
Yeah, and you're kind of you're hitting the nail on the head here. I just got a text that the Municipal League, they support gutting the FOIA for that very reason that you just said. I mean, so they don't have to comply and give the documents to the public. So
right, yeah.
So we just got to watch out. I'm saying, like, that's gonna be something. I think that's gonna be another battle for sure. And just generally, guys, I think everything you're doing, whether it's the preferred family health care legal exaction or the ecclesia or watching FOIA, it seems like, I mean, you guys are kind of on a quest for transparency in government.
Well, Paul, I would say that we're both members of Arkansas Trial Lawyers Association. Trial Lawyers Associated often get pigeonholed in this or that political side, but I think we're all, most trial lawyers, we're small businessmen, and we're conservative. And I mean classically conservative in the sense that we believe in limited open government. And so I think I think it goes to what I know what Joey believes in for sure, and what I believe in, and what most of the lawyers I know believe in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very well said. Well,
I agree, absolutely. Trial lawyers are, we've got to hold government accountable, and so yeah, you are right, Matt. I mean, in classically conservative, and citizens should know that they have the ability to hold government accountable. And Winthrop Rockefeller back in the '60s created this mechanism to hold government accountable, and we've got to fight to our last breath to keep records available and to make sure that meetings are occurring in the public when public business is discussed. Paul, the other thing I would say is we're waiting for the Supreme Court right now to make a decision on this secret email case where the city of Fort Smith was conducting public business by way of secret email. It's an epidemic across the state where governments are conducting business either through text messages before meetings or email. So I'm excited and waiting on that decision now, and hopefully it'll be favorable to accountability and transparency.
So, to the first topic, the motion that was filed to dismiss preferred family health care, they don't think this case, so where do we go from here in terms of what are we waiting on next?
Well, we're waiting on us. We file a response, and we have a few more days to do that. We file a response, and then the court rules. Now, motions dismissed. In the law, there's a bias toward deciding cases on the merits. In other words, let all the facts be heard. Let the jury of the judge hear it. In a motion to dismiss, all facts are resolved in our favor. All assumptions are made in the non-moving party. So the court will have a hearing. The court will issue a ruling. If the court moves to dismiss, they give you an opportunity to amend your complaint. And if the court says, well, you're missing this fact or that fact, you can amend your complaint. If you have that fact, you can add it. And if the court still believes it's dismissed, then we make the decision, do we appeal it up? If the motion to dismiss is denied, the case goes forward. We go into the discovery phase, which is, I think that's where we send all the questions asking for information about where this money goes. Tell me about this bank account. Tell me about that. And that process, frankly, with as many defendants as we have and as many moving parts over a 7-year fraud scheme at least, maybe longer, that takes a while.
Yeah, that's going to take a while. But, man, and they certainly don't want to go into that process. They don't want to go into discovery. Well, Matt Bishop, Joey McCutchen, thank you guys for coming on, and keep us posted on what's next, and we'll look forward, and we'll be watching the news and the headlines.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
All righty.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Paul.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate your work. Folks, we're going to take a break. Back in just a moment.